I want to compare two migration programs for professionals. One being run by the US, which is called the Employment-Based Visa, and the other being run by the UK, which is called the Global Talent Visas. Now, what's the difference between these two? Now, I'm going to give you 10 points why the EB visa is better than the Global Talent Visa. Now, as immigration consultant, we apply for these two category of visas for candidates. But I want to advise you and give you why the EB, you stand a better chance to get the EB and why it is better than that of the Global Talent Visa. Now, I'm going to give 10 points, just like you can see on my screen. Number one is adjudication authority. For the US EB, it is done by the US Immigration, which is the USCIS itself. For the UK, you have third-party body. So there's an endorsing body, except for those in tech, which is being handled by the Home Office at the moment. So we have things like the Art Council, Royal, and British Academy, and so on, that you need to get an endorsement for. So there's a process you need to apply. You get that endorsement before you actually go to apply. Now, let's talk about petition endorsement to approval strength. Now, in the US EB program, 70 to 80% of the overall rates across EB1 and EB2. So approval is 70 to 80%, while for the global talent is between 50 to 75% for approval rate, depending on the sector that is being applied. Now, number 3 point is estimated number of Nigerians likely approved. Estimated number of Nigerians likely approved. Now, in the EB, these are real statistics from what it comes, because they give this approximate figure. Now, for the US EB, each year, 3,000 to 4,500 people get the EB visa approved every year, Nigerians alone. Now, Nigeria can go as high as 7,000, because there's a percentage which is 7% of that number goes to each country. While for the global talent visa, we have 50 to 200 Nigerians that can the global talent cannot select more than 200 Nigerians, and since it has started, it has always been that way. And the fourth point is the global annual capacity. The US EB visa brings 140,000 people. In fact, that's the minimum number, 140,000 people from around the world. Why the global talent for the UK brings maximum of 4,000 people. So competition is going to be very stiff, like it is at the moment. Also, the overall opportunity size, which is the fifth point I have here, thousands of Nigeria can realistically succeed annually. Why for the UK global talent, it's only a very few that actually succeeds, because those are stable for people maybe in research, arts, and film, fashion, and all the rest. Now, what is the number 6 is what is the approval predictability? What's the possibility? It's very high for you to get the EB visa, because it's based on law, regulation, and the case law, structured criteria. There are clear criteria that the EB gives. So it's really, that's why it's very high for you to predict whether you can be approved or not. That's why for people we accept, we want to be sure we can see the list and we can see whether they can get approved or not. And so we accept or we don't accept you. But for the UK global talent visa, endorsement is more subjective and varies based on sector, and that's number 6. So you need to get endorsed. So when you have so many people coming in, those endorsements may not come easily, and you need to know that the UK global talent visa is very expensive. Why somebody in the in that of the EB visa will be spending less than $10,000, you can be talking about people in the global talent visa spending over $20,000, and that's the figure. Sometimes why that of the US, like for us, we it's $7,000. You see people going for the global talent spending as much as $20,000. So that of the US EB is cheaper in cost also. Now let's talk about number 7, which is outcome of stage 1. If you get the EB has one stage. Once they approve you, you have been approved for permanent residence, which is green card. For the UK, stage 1 means you will now apply for the global talent visa after you have actually been endorsed. Of course, getting the endorsement is not easy. Remember, for that of the US, is the immigration that accesses it directly. Number 8 point is the final immigration outcome. Why for the US, like I said, you get permanent resident, which is green card. For the global talent visa, you get 3 to 5 years visa, which means you have a work visa, and it's going to take you some other years to get to your ILR, which is the independent leave to remain. That is which means you are settled. And if anything happens along the line, you lose it. So it's not guaranteed. The law could change, you could lose it, or maybe anything could happen because you are still on visa. But for the US, you get your green card directly. Also in the US, after 5 years, you are getting a US passport. Why the person in the UK is still on a visa, you already have a passport after 5 years. It's suitable for Nigerian engineers. That's for the US EB. If you're an engineer, IT professional, those in healthcare, academics, researcher, innovators. Why for that of the UK global talent is for tech founders, creatives, research, people who have gotten some publication grants. So the US system is more flexible in terms of the suitability for Nigeria. The final point is long-term stability. How stable is this program? What's the possibility that it can change? What's the possibility that tomorrow they come with something? For the US, it was set up by Act of Parliament. So it started since 1990. So since the year 1990, 140,000 professionals come to the US, which you can be part of. That of the UK started in 2020, which is just about 5 years old. And at the moment, there are things going around with respect to policy change. If you qualify for the global talent visa, you also qualify. In fact, you are even more than qualified for the EB program. And I'm encouraging anyone to go for the EB program, as that is a very wonderful pathway to residence in the US.